came back and evened the score at 20-4 after falling behind at 24-0. Big one for both teams today as we welcome you inside our CFL on TSN studios. And once again, a very happy Thanksgiving, Canada. Sit back, enjoy a couple of football games with the panel here. Jock Climby, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz, I'm Rod Smith, and we're getting set for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Montreal Alouettes. Mentioning the Riders' struggles so far, 3 losses in the last 4 times. Montreal coming on after a terrible start to the season. Jock, start with you. What are you looking for in this game?
Well, I'm looking to see the development of Crompton and his receivers. I mean, I think this team is just a different team because of Crompton. He takes care of the football. They've managed to cut their turnovers in half since he's gotten into the lineup, and they're averaging 50 yards more on offense. So Jerron Carter is a guy who's averaging 5 catches a game. He is the go-to guy on this team now. S.J. Green, bit of an off year, but still obviously dangerous. I'm looking to see how Crompton can continue to mesh with those 2 guys.
This ball game, in my opinion, is how these 2 strong defenses, potentially strong defenses, we've seen it this year, go up against these young quarterbacks. And certainly Montreal's defense, I think, has been their strong point of the 2014 season until their offense got foothold over the last 5 weeks. And it's led by this guy, Chip Cox. He's a veteran player on that football team, along with Bowman, Brown, and Tisdale, Parker, some of the other veterans defensively that get after the young quarterback. And it's going to be their success on Tino Sinceri that's going to make the difference today.
And, Matty, on the opposite side, I think there's one player that can dictate success or failure for Montreal or for Saskatchewan, and that's the free safety, number 41, Tyrone Brackenridge. To me, he is the best free safety in this league. He is a vicious hitter, and he is an excellent blitzer in terms of timing and also aggressive play. That guy you can put on film and on video, and if you want to see a guy know how to blitz from that position, that's the guy. He determines games.
Absolutely, he does. The Alouettes, as mentioned, will honor Anthony Calvillo at the half, retiring his number. So a special day in Montreal as the Alouettes get introduced on their home field. Can they make it 5 out of 6 and tie the Argos and the Ticats for first place again? CFL on TSN. Game 1 of our Thanksgiving doubleheader coming up.
Happy Thanksgiving. On a day we pause to give thanks. In Montreal, they say thank you to one of the greatest players this league has ever produced. That's him, who retired before this season, and Anthony Calvillo on the 13th day of October will have his number retired at halftime.
Very deserving honor for Anthony Calvillo. And a couple guys looking to follow in his very large footsteps for the Montreal Alouettes. Second-year quarterback Jonathan Crompton. 4-1 record thus far as he's brought some stability to this Alouette quarterback situation. Tino Sinceri aims to do the same for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the absence of Darian Durant. Flashes of brilliance in the second half last week. He looks to build on that here today.
Riders have lost 2 in a row. Corey Chamberlain trying to get things going again. Tom Higgins, his team, spinning in the other direction. They've won 2 straight in a fight for first place in the East. Here we go, the last divisional lockup of the season. East meets West on Thanksgiving Day. Glad you're with us. Away we go in Montreal. Tristan Jackson to the 25 where he's buried near the 30-yard line. And Tino Sinceri, great comeback last week, albeit in a loss against Calgary, brings his offense out on the field. Our starters to watch are brought to you by Napa Auto Parts, where custom advice comes standard.
And there you see the numbers that Sinceri posted in relief of Seth Daggy last week. Very strong performance, just unable to overcome that deficit. Chris Best back on that offensive line that's still without Brendan Labatt. Weston Dressler, numbers are down about 50% from his career numbers, but he's had some big games against the Owls in the past.
The handoff, plowing up near the 38-yard line is Anthony Allen, a pickup of 9 yards.
Well, defensively for the Montreal Alouettes, they've become a stronger unit in what they describe the 10-game season down the stretch, and a lot of it has to do with Bear Woods establishing himself in the middle of that group. Aaron Laverius moving back his traditional DN spot. Of course, Chip Cox, a big-time playmaker, already has 2 defensive TDs this year.
Second down and 1. They line up in the pistol formation, and they keep it on the ground again. Once again, it is Anthony Allen. First down for the Roughriders, who are trying to end a long road scoring drought.
For Tino Sinceri, he looks to provide a little bit more of this for the Saskatchewan Roughriders offensively. He had struggled since taking over for Darian Durant, was replaced as the starter by Seth Daggy last week, but came on in relief. Terrific second half to pull even with Calgary before they lost on a late TD.
On the ground again. So far, the playbook has been Anthony Allen right, left, and up the gut. It's been all Anthony Allen so far. Talked about their scoring drought. The Roughriders had gone 6 full quarters before scoring the 24 points last week. On the road, they have gone 10 quarters plus without an offensive touchdown. So they've struggled here on the road as well. Have not won in Montreal in quite some time. Well, pretty predictable so far. Very close to another first down. Goes Anthony Allen. 4 straight touches, 4 straight carries for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
This is a little bit of what you heard Jock Climie calling for in the pregame. The Saskatchewan Roughriders to lean on this run game, particularly with a young quarterback. And it's going to benefit them. You're seeing it already now. They're leaving the backside end blocked on some of these zone plays. As they start, that backside end starts to collapse on the run, then there will be an opportunity for Sinceri to pull that football on a bootleg and have a little bit more time to throw.
Changes the play. There they go again. Swallowed up at the line of scrimmage this time. It'll be second and a little longer now. Allen, 5 straight plays, and hard to say if they'll keep it on the ground. Picks up 4, 2nd and 6. Looks like a throwing down now for Tino Sinceri.
Well, nonetheless, important to continue, and even in a situation like this, don't be surprised to see the Riders mix in the odd run. Force the Alouettes defense to honor that and slow down that pass rush.
At the Montreal 52-yard line. In the air, knocked away. So the Alouettes allow a couple first downs. Jeff Tisdale bats this one away. And the Riders are going to bring out their kick team.
Tisdale, a veteran corner, just a good break to the football. He recognizes where that first down marker is and understands that space and time, gives himself enough time to close and make a play on the ball.
Josh Bartel is back in the lineup for the Riders. Missed a few games and almost had that blocked. With a hamstring pull, this should be no yards. It is. Kim Murphy is our referee today. 34-yard kick from the Aussie-born kicker Josh Bartel, the former Cat. There's actually 3 flags on the play. 2 of them are for no yards for sure, but there's also a couple of flags back near that 40-yard line. So there might be simultaneous penalties here. Absolutely gorgeous Thanksgiving Day in Montreal.
Well, perfect football weather. It's certainly, autumn is upon us. A little bit of briskness to the air.
Football weather, partner.
That's it.
Okay. Here's Kim Murphy now.
No yards. Number 16, Saskatchewan. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Montreal. Number 43, illegal block against Montreal. That penalty is declined. First down.
Hat trick of penalties there. When we come back, Montreal brings its offense on the field. Retro Anthony Calvillo bobblehead doll. All about AC today. You can see the 13th yard line.
The last play before timeout, we had no yards. Saskatchewan number 22. Illegal block, Montreal number 16. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Montreal number 43. First down, Montreal.
So after all of that, need to be an algebra major after that. Montreal their first series inside their 10-yard line. There's Jonathan Crompton. 4-1 as a starter. Over the top and in traffic, it's caught by Brandon London.
Well, this is a gutsy throw by Jonathan Crompton, especially considering the field position, working to the wide side of the field. You'll see Brandon London. You'll also see 4 white jerseys around him as he catches this football, all converging. London goes up and gets it for his quarterback in a little bit of traffic. Move those sticks and give the Alouettes offense a little bit of breathing room here.
Alouettes are last in the CFL on yardage on first down, so that's a good start for them. Fumble football, and Crompton has to scoop it up. Little confusion there in the backfield. Alouettes minus Brandon Whitaker, and a key loss for them.
Yeah, and they'll have Terrell Sutton pick up the slack for him, but Sutton, despite the talk of a 2-back offense, only 7 carries over the course of the last 4 Alouette games for him. Crompton season low, 48.3% completing the football today. That's one thing he's going to need to do better. Big day for Josh Burke in that offensive line, but particularly he and Jeff Parrott at tackle, facing John Chick.
Al's last and second down conversion, 2. And they can't convert on second down, as Crompton is going to see a lot of heat today. He's going to see a lot of those white Roughrider uniforms. Riders lead the Canadian Football League in sacks.
Pressure coming from all over the place on that one. Just Crompton hammered as he threw that football.
Howling wind today, kind of spinning. But this is a good kick from Sean White. Sends Tristan Jackson back to his 35. Down the sideline he goes. A nice return. Penalty flag as he was knocked out of bounds. 55-yard kick from Sean White. A 19-yard return from the veteran Tristan Jackson.
On the return, illegal block, Saskatchewan, number 22, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So those yards come back, and the Riders will be back at it. Here's the key guy for them so far as well as Anthony Allen in the backfield.
Every man in this room has to own up to the way that he plays tonight. Every man in this room has to own up in the way that he coaches tonight. This is the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We're a championship football team, and we have to show it tonight. What do champs do? Right. 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 All day, every day, and all that we do. Let's go, baby.
Defending Grey Cup champions, the coach of the year last year, began this season 8-2. Have stumbled a bit lately, and not coincidentally without quarterback Darian Durant. Carrying the mail once again is Anthony Allen. Up near the 50, nice run. Riders last year also went through a similar rough patch. They began the year 8-1, finished the season 3-6, still went into the postseason, and still won the Grey Cup.
Well, the run game, a big part of their success last year, and we're seeing them rely on it in the early going here. This time with the double tight formation, that's going to force the defense to spread out, to protect and defend. 2 more gaps along that line. Flattens them out. You get a crease, and you've got the big load, Anthony Allen, on a smaller defender at second level.
Good numbers again, and they continue to pound the ground. Anthony Allen, former star at Georgia Tech, again a team that's been trying to find a replacement and have experimented with a number of backs. To Corey Sheets, who went south.
And there you see the numbers for Saskatchewan thus far in 2014. Second in terms of the overall yards, but in terms of actual running plays, leading the Canadian Football League.
744 yards on the ground for Allen this season. Throwing down, 2nd and 6. In trouble is Sinceri, and sacked by the Alouettes. Gang tackles there. Bear Woods had Sinceri in a bear hug.
Well, they get into a little bit of trouble here, and this is a challenge for a young running back in the Canadian Football League. Anthony Allen is going to step up He doesn't win this collision close to the line of scrimmage in terms of pass pro. Bear Woods goes over top of the Saskatchewan running back en route to this sack.
Rogers is tackled for a loss on the return, and once again, some nylon flying. Another penalty.
Nice job in the back.
Midway through this first quarter in Montreal, Saskatchewan and the Alouettes have played the Thanksgiving Day Classic a few times. Montreal has won the last 3. Still sorting out this penalty.
Well, the flag was thrown way behind the play. Occasionally happens in these special teams battles.
On the return, holding Montreal, number 11. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Long field again for the Alouettes, who have the first sack for them of this ball game. Courtesy of...
In many ways, happy Thanksgiving to all of us. We got a lot to be thankful for. Special day, it's October 13th. A gentleman that represented this organization gets his number hung up on the wall. That's a special day.
Special player, Anthony Calvillo. Watching from above. At halftime, they will have a special ceremony for him, and he will join the likes of Sam Echeverry and Hal Patterson, Peter Delariva, Junior Ayew, Mike Pringle. 10th player to have his number retired. That's Chip Cox.
Called for ragdolling. Alex Berchalski on the punt return. That's why the Alouettes find themselves backed up here.
Second down and 10 now. Crompton decides to go up near the first down, and Jonathan Crompton uses his legs.
A nice execution there from the Alouettes offensive line. Pass sets, and then get on a man. Great job by the center. Luc Brodeur-Jourdain getting up to the second level on the linebacker, Diamond Ferry. Keep an eye on 58 out in front.
Quick hitter. Fumbled football. The Riders have it. Rod Williams has the football. Duron Carter on the slant got rocked and lost it. First turnover of the ball game.
Saskatchewan defenders swarming to that football. A couple arriving simultaneously here. Just that hitch screen off play action. You see Weldon Brown is in there pulling at it. Tyrone Brackenridge comes in with the heavy hit. But I think Brown gets his hands on this ball first. See him right there. Pulls it out just before the hit comes.
Heavy 6.
Brown the strip. Rod Williams, the recovery. They keep it on the turf. Bouncing off and plowing forward is Anthony Allen. What a run. Absolutely absorbed a couple of shots and then punished the Montreal defenders.
Anthony Allen is listed at 220, but to me he looks and runs a whole lot bigger than that. An absolute load. And you can keep feeding him the rock. And You give him the occasional break with the depth in that backfield to keep him fresh, but this is a back who will wear down an opposing defense.
Stays in the pistol formation. Sinceri just changed the play. Why not? Right back to Allen. They go to the red zone inside the 20-yard line, where they are number 2 in the CFL. Saskatchewan, their touchdown ratio about 67% in this score zone.
Winston Venable comes up hobbling a little bit. The Alouette linebacker in there for Kai Hebert. Got his leg rolled up on by the pile. Keep an eye on him in coverage here.
2nd and 5 now. Sinceri goes to Weston Dressler on the slant. Just past that 13-yard line, close to the 10, and it will be first down, Roughriders, just outside the 10-yard line.
I'll get the ball in the hands of Weston Dressler, a guy whom we know can make people miss. Does just enough to get the first down there. His receiving numbers in terms of yards per game down a little bit. 44 yards a game as compared to 66 through his career. But 3 of the top 4 receiving games of his career have come against these Montreal Alouettes.
Sinceri looking for Dressler, incomplete, under duress. Alouettes were coming. It'll be 2nd down now.
Well, the pressure comes quickly in the face of Sinceri. He had Dressler in the flat. There you see Gabriel Napton chip Cox in his face. Watch Dressler come from behind the line of scrimmage out into the flat. Tons of room if they can get the ball out there. He scores.
Chip Cox got a piece of it. Big play here, both sides. Sinceri looking far side. Anthony Allen can walk in. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
A great call to go and attack the same part of the field that was wide open on the last play. Just go with a different protection scheme, different look. But you felt something in terms of the coverage when they got into this territory in terms of what they were seeing from Montreal. So they went back there just from a different look. Allen, free release from the backfield. Get it blocked up at the line of scrimmage. Again, much like Dressler on the previous play, it's Allen wide open in the flat here.
5 plays, 35 yards. 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but the key on this, that takeaway. The Riders 2nd in the CFL. Turnover ratio, 7 points off the turnover on a day where they're honoring AC. So far, it's been AA for the Roughriders. First touchdown strike.
FedEx next day.
Tampa, Florida native Anthony Allen, former Baltimore Raven.
And Allen has been a monster so far in this game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, doing most of his damage on the ground, pounding for every inch, every yard, capping off the last drive through the air, catching the touchdown pass from Tino Sinceri to give the Riders the lead.
8th touchdown already this season for Anthony Allen. What a revelation he's been. 10 touches, 62 rush yards, 11 receiving, and the major. 7-0. There goes James Rogers. Up near the 35-yard line so far. Montreal's offense stymied by Saskatchewan's stingy defense. An Alouette team that does not get out of the starting blocks very well. When you consider the guy they're honoring here today, they used to always score at will and used to normally at the end of the first quarter roll up some numbers, but that 0 has been too commonplace beside the Alouettes of late.
Go! Lady!
Terrell Sutton, again, the replacement for Brandon Whitaker. They've been going 2 backs for most of the season.
Here's a look at the Saskatchewan defensive starters to watch. John Chick, of course, you look at those numbers, the bottom line, he spends a lot of time in the opponent's backfield. He'll be a load for the Alouette O-line. Terrius George has helped take some pressure off Chick as a pass rusher. He leads all CFL D tackles in sacks. And Tyrone Brackenridge, an absolute difference maker from the free safety position.
Crompton, loads of time, over the top. Trying to reach out and grab that one was S.J. Green. So once again, the offense stalls here. This Montreal team that has not scored a point their last 2 games in opening quarters. In fact, their last 2 games have been scoreless with both teams. They're coming off a win 2 weeks ago in Ottawa, and before that against Calgary. They had a bye week last week, so they're well rested. Weston Dressler back at his 20. Just over 2 to go, first quarter. Into the sun. Dressler swallowed up Dominic Ellis downfield. Let's go to the sideline. Say happy Thanksgiving to John Liu.
Well, thank you, Rod. And, earlier this year, Kerry Joseph was batting around the idea of pursuing a one-day contract in Saskatchewan to retire as a Rough Rider. But last Saturday, on the occasion of his 41st birthday, the club came calling with a birthday gift that Joseph says he'll never forget. He was out celebrating his birthday, having dinner with his wife and some friends in his hometown near New Orleans when the phone rang. And normally he says his wife would get after him over the phone going off during a meal. But in this case, she said, answer it. Good thing he did, because it was Corey Chamberlain phoning with a job offer for Joseph. He accepted the next day, landed in Saskatchewan on Thursday, and here he is today, third-string quarterback. But most importantly, he is a veteran, experienced resource for Saskatchewan's young QBs, and this also will serve as a springboard for Joseph's next move in football, which is to launch a coaching career. Guys?
Well, you can see on the sideline, John, the kind of coach he might be as well. He's very involved. A guy who was a class act in his time when it looked like he might retire for his time in Edmonton. Goes to show you what goes around comes around. Back in Saskatchewan. 2nd and 2. Riders slicing and dicing on the ground right now.
I'm talking to Kerry Joseph a little bit before the game, of course, arriving. Offensively, could see him a little bit in short yardage here today, but he says he feels pretty comfortable system-wise, saying very similar to what he ran in Edmonton last season, so he's pretty comfortable in terms of the concepts and so on. And obviously this is a guy who's been around a little bit, has had some success, that in a pinch for the Saskatchewan Roughriders could be the guy. I know their hope obviously is that Tino Sinceri takes hold of this thing and that they don't need to play Kerry Joseph. But I think the club certainly feels a little bit better having the veteran there as a security blanket.
Again with Darian Durant out of the lineup, and on cue, here he comes, Kerry Joseph. This is what he did a lot in Edmonton in his time there. Short yardage situation. So welcome back, Kerry Joseph. Grey Cup champion in 2007 with the Roughriders and the most outstanding player. 41 years young. Short yardage. Goes forward. Well, the decision for Kerry Joseph, even though he was out for dinner with his wife, didn't take long.
The thing that made it easier was it's a good football team. This was home to me. I was able to be a part of a championship team here. You look at where they are now, and I knew they had great people here. So that kind of made the decision a little bit easier for me to join this team and help out any way I can to get back to that Grey Cup again.
Yeah, so they only had a couple of practices.
Tino Sinceri is back in. Flag flies. Crossing pattern. Dressler. Bear Woods and Billy Parker make the tackle. The flag was back at the 34-yard line on the far side of the field just as the ball was snapped. Looks like it's against the Riders. Look at that flying dread.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 89. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Very interesting that the Riders went out and got Kerry Joseph. They had been pursuing some other veterans. When I chatted with Corey Chamberlain yesterday, and read between the lines, one of those guys obviously was Henry Burris. Kerry Joseph became available. They looked at it and they said, why not? And who knows what could happen. Could be the final play. Well, maybe not. Again, flags. Procedure against the Riders. This is the kind of stuff that you deal with as well with a young
Procedure.
quarterback.
Saskatchewan, number 65. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And you also deal with their unruly Montreal crowd. They're very loud here.
Well, that'll be a challenge for Sunseri, but like many things, as George Cortes said before the game, the improvement is coming. Practice helps, but game experience helps a lot more, and that's what he needs to get.
First and 20 now. Draw play. Good play. And Allen just ran into Dominic Picard, his center, who brought him down. Otherwise, he might have had a couple more yards on that play. Brought it back to almost the initial line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Allen just trying to cut it back. Saw a little bit of daylight to the right side of the field. Off balance as he was making that cut and ran into his big center.
Boom. Big guys down there. That's the final play of this opening quarter on Thanksgiving Day and AC Day in Montreal. Third straight game, the Alouettes have not scored a point in the opening quarter. Saskatchewan did. They lead 7-0. On Thanksgiving 2014, great start for Anthony Allen, and of course that turnover, the fumble by Duron Carter, really the difference in the ball game so far, and this is what it's all about. Chef Ford,
there you go.
You've been at it again.
Well, as I always say, walk softly and carry a big fork.
Or a knife, or whatever.
Yes.
What are we going to be doing with this? You can hand this out to anybody?
I'm of course a vegetarian, so I'm not going to touch the turkey.
You're what? What? I don't think so.
No?
No.
Nobody's buying it?
There's some vegetables here, but no. It looks good, and this is what today's about, so we hope you're enjoying your turkey and your mashed potatoes and your pumpkin pie.
And your football.
And your football, because that's what it's about here. This is about 7 years for you and I now here in Montreal. Always a special day, and even more special today at halftime.
Yeah, looking forward to the Anthony Calvillo celebration. Retirement of his famous number 13.
Sunseri drops it off. It's been a one-man show so far. Anthony Allen again. And until the Alouettes devise a way to put the stops to Anthony Allen, Tino Sunseri and the Riders are going to have some success here. They don't get the first down, however, so Josh Bartel will kick it away. 14 of 16 plays so far have been designed for Anthony Allen.
Yeah, little question what the game plan was coming into this ball game.
Josh Bartel averaging 45 yards a kick, again back in the lineup today for the Riders. This is a booming punt. Sends Rogers back to his 10. One cut, another. And then spinning down near the 20-yard line where another flag is.
Illegal block. Montreal, number 52. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Another long field, another penned start for the Alouettes.
So a whole lot of issues on that punt return team for the Montreal Alouettes in terms of the penalties. As you said, keep putting the offense in a real hole.
One of the reasons the Alouettes have been able to not get any traction at all here offensively. Shadows of their goalposts again. Only their third running play, second to Terrell Sutton. And trying to establish on the ground, they are not. Team that is pass first predominantly.
Nice defensive play here from Weldon Brown. He's tracked into the formation. He's tracked the receiver, Brandon London, to the inside. London collapses to block. Brown folds around the outside to make that first contact with Sutton on that bounce.
Montreal team that has won 4 of 5 games. 2 straight. They've come back into the Eastern playoff picture. Good pass. Catch made by S.J. Green. Legree was there. A chance as this ball just threads the needle.
Well, it would be a big boost to the Montreal Alouette offense if they can get this guy going. S.J. Green, prior to the bye week, had his best game of the season catching the football. 132 yards against Ottawa, doubling his previous season high.
Guy who caught a number of footballs from Anthony Calvillo in his time, was really the understudy to Jamel Richardson for a while. Here comes that fly sweep. The reverse to James Rogers.
Well, and we see Rogers on that play. We'll keep an eye here on James Rogers. Watch Diamond Ferry as he gets up off for Rogers at the bottom of this pile.
Diamond Ferry gives him a little hair tug. Can't make that stuff up. I don't know if Diamond was jealous of the locks or not. A little hair pull. Into traffic. Brandon London can't come up with a football. And again, the Alouettes will bring their kick team out as they stall at their 31-yard line. Big day for Diamond Ferry coming back here to Montreal, where it really all began for him with the Alouettes. Won a couple cups here, then ended up in Saskatchewan, where he also captured another ring last November.
A veteran pickup for the Roughriders. Helped this late season push.
Weston Dressler is at his 35. This is going to be into the wind a bit. End over end. Good bounce though for the Owls, and Dressler, it's like a no yards call. It's a 5-yard penalty. 7-0 Saskatchewan. One of the sack meisters for the Alouettes. Feasts on quarterbacks. John Bowman. Thanksgiving Day. 24. That number on the back of his helmet, the number they will retire of his former teammate Anthony Calvillo, who JB says was one of a kind.
Knowing that I played with one of the best ever, you know, it's special for me because, like, it's hard to imagine that unless you really go through it. But I'm super excited for him, super proud of him. Nobody's going to wear 13 anyway. This is just a formality, so I'm just excited for him.
Tino Sinceri gets hammered. There's Bowman picking it up on cue. John Bowman scoops up the ball after Tino Sinceri was rocked.
John Bowman gets the fruits of the labors of Chip Cox. Does a terrific job timing up this blitz. Hits it in stride. He's going to come. There he is from the outside. Unblocked, full speed right into the chest of the quarterback. You know, and this is just a little bit of justice for John Bowman, who leads the Canadian Football League with 5 forced fumbles this year. He's usually the guy doing the dirty work. That's the first time he gets to be the guy picking up the football.
Immediate field position for the Alouettes. Crompton looking for Duron Carter. Carter's open, but he instead goes to an outlet underneath. And so J.C. Beaulieu pulls that in. 2 or 3 yards. Duron Carter on that play was wide open down near the 5-yard line. Crompton couldn't get it to him.
No, Crompton feeling the pressure that time, forced out of the pocket, just going to the outlet with Beaulieu, who was lined up as a tight end in that double tight formation.
Back to the air again, likely for J.C., former Tennessee Volunteer. Here comes the rush. There goes the football. One-on-one coverage, and they're going to have an interference call here against Brandon London. Terrell Mays looked like he made a great play at the last moment, but too tight to the receiver. So the Alouettes will keep this drive going with an interference call.
Yeah, Mays got the hands on the jersey just as he caught up to Brandon London as that ball hung up a little bit. You'll see it's the inside matchup.
Saskatchewan, number 20. The infraction took place in goal. The ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
You'll see if Mays could locate the football earlier, he'd have realized that it had hung up there, and he had time to recover and make a play on the ball, but not knowing how soon the ball's coming, gave that little tug to stay close.
Tanner Marsh at the 1-yard line. That's his 5th touchdown. Looks like it should be a major. They signal, but there is another penalty flag. Don't go anywhere. This is Tanner Marsh territory. A guy at one time who also started
offside. Saskatchewan, number 42. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
So already on this Thanksgiving Monday, little giving and receiving going on. 2 touchdowns on the board, both the result of turnovers.
Yeah, team's capitalizing quickly here. Turnover followed by the penalty sets up the Alouettes on the Rider doorstep for this one.
Hey, you want to go see me, or you going to see me?
Former Arkansas Tech wonder boy Tanner Marsh. Converted by Sean White. Turnover, touchdown, touchdown. The reason for this one, Chip Cox, John Bowman, a penalty, and Tanner Marsh.
Cox with the big hit, timed up the blitz perfectly. Sinceri didn't see him coming. Cox pops the ball free. Bowman recovery. The PI call to set them up on the doorstep. Tanner Marsh punches it in to get the Alouettes on the board.
7 up. Tristan Jackson trying to follow some blocks. Runs into a teammate. Tackle at the 31-yard line. Let's see how Tino Sinceri reacts to that turnover. They're on the McGill University campus. Percival Molson Stadium. Big crowd here today.
And I think one of the things that has to come out of Tino Sinceri's performance last week is his ability to bounce back, his ability to respond to some adversity. Having been benched, having been sat down after some struggles in his first opportunity to take the helm of this team, came off the bench and performed very well last week.
Well, this has been the safety valve. Anthony Allen so far. Plowing for about 6 yards. The Roughriders this season on first down usually run the football, and they usually average about 6.4 yards on a first down.
Leaning on that run even a little more heavily on first down in the early part of this game. 9 of 10 first down plays in the first quarter were runs.
Diving forward. This will depend on the spot. First down marker is near the 42-yard line. Spot's going to be near the 41 or just outside the 40. So they're going to bring the sticks out, measure this. Looks like it's going to be a third down play of about a yard for the Roughriders.
Based on that offensive line and the big guy in the backfield, 3rd and 1 is undaunting for this team.
It's Marc-Olivier Brouillette, the free safety for the Alouettes, talking with quarterback Tino Sinceri. Marco Brouillette used to be a quarterback at one time in college.
Yeah, terrific quarterback for the Montreal Carabins. I remember attending a game on that campus, watching him play and being told by the coaches before the game, this guy is by far the best athlete on our football team. He's proven it with his transition to the free safety and linebacker positions in the CFL.
Riders will not gamble. Bartel, spiraling kick. Cornering James Rogers. 7-7 the score here at Molson Stadium in Montreal. Quarterbacks the CFL has ever seen. Anthony Calvillo. Let's go to the sideline once again. Here's John Liu.
Well, thank you, Rod. And for 15 years, Montreal Alouettes players have made it a Thanksgiving tradition that following their game on Mondays, they go to a downtown Montreal mission to serve dinners to the homeless and underprivileged. And for 15 years, Anthony Calvillo was one of those players, including 2011, when he became pro football's all-time leading passer. But for the first time this year, Calvillo will not be able to join his former teammates because for his halftime ceremony to retire his jersey, he has family from California in town, and they will be celebrating Thanksgiving after the game. But Calvillo, knowing this, 2 weeks ago, went on his own to a different Montreal mission and served meals to the homeless and underprivileged. Guys?
Well, that's the kind of guy he is, Anthony Calvillo. Saw Terrell Sutton peel off a first down, a 16-yard gain. That's the Alouettes' best run so far in this ball game.
But he gets a little bit of help from his quarterback, Jonathan Crompton. You see Crompton boot out to the right. Well, then he turns blocker right at the end of that play, getting a piece of Ricky Foley, who is trying to pursue his running back.
Play action. Crompton. Almost a one-handed snag from S.J. Green. You almost expect him to make a catch like that.
A couple receivers getting out into that flat one, the flat route, looking at James Rogers, and then it's S.J. Green on the slightly deeper route. Very good coverage from the Riders on that one. A little bit of a tussle behind the play between Jeff Parrott and Ricky Foley. To the line of scrimmage.
Throwing down for Crompton. Here comes the blitz. Look out. The ball thrown downfield, incomplete. Crompton just got leveled by former Alouette Diamond Ferry.
Well, much like the Chip Cox timed blitz that led to a sack and forced fumble a few minutes ago for the Montreal Alouettes, Diamond Ferry returns the favor for the Riders here. He's going to come from depth from that right side, completely backside. Center Brodeur Jourdain late popping out to it, didn't get there. Oh, and a big hit on Crompton as he released the ball.
The old blindside hit. Riders set up the return. Dressler. There is 20. Weston Dressler, who received the key to the city of Regina from the mayor this week, who had promised him the keys once he returned to Regina. Well, believe in the impossible. The fastest man alive is here. It's not Anthony Calvillo. It's the Flash. All new tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on CTV. Although
Saskatchewan number 90. 10-yard penalty. First down.
AC had some deceptive speed.
Yeah, underrated as a scrambler. He certainly picked his spots. But no, he will never be mistaken for the Flash.
Yeah, you get a chuckle out of that one. We'll get a chance to chat with AC. And again, the ceremony coming up at halftime should be a good one here. And retire his number. Riders back inside their 10. Alouettes show a front of 5 here. They hand off to Allen. Aaron Laverius brings him down, and once again another penalty flag.
Well, that 3-man rotation at defensive end for Montreal with Laverius, John Bowman, Gabriel Napton, proven to be a huge strength for the Alouettes here.
There's no infraction on the play. It'll be second down.
The Alouettes occasionally mixing things up, finding ways to get all 3 of those guys on the field. Call it a page from the Saskatchewan Roughriders book as we're seeing them a little bit try to mix in ways to get Brandon Boudreau, an East Division All-Star at end for Hamilton last year, getting him on the field at the same time as Ricky Foley and John Chitt.
Key down here for the Riders. 2nd and 8. keep it on the ground. Bear Woods. Allen Michael Cash. Drop Anthony Allen in his tracks, and so pretty good field position now for the Alouettes. Josh Bartel will have to kick this. Does have the wind behind him.
And I think a couple of factors going into that play call for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. One of them being that little bit of that desire that we felt we'd see with them running the ball in non-obvious run situations to try and keep the defense honest. But the other side of it, I think coaches managing the game for a young quarterback, not putting him in a position where he could make a costly mistake with this field position.
The midfield strike, Rogers, penalty flag on an illegal block.
On the return, illegal block, Montreal number 36, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Daryl Townsend, one of the best special teams players in the CFL.
There you see the improvement in the Montreal Alouettes offense, first 8 games, and then the most recent 5 as they talk about having a 10-game season, new season going forward. The key being, of course, the 4-1 record, but just much more efficient, doing a better job protecting the ball.
Terrell Sutton is swarmed. John Chicken on the tackle. Chick having an exceptional season. There's Brandon Boudreau they got from the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
And there you see Boudreau, middle of that formation, basically lining up as a linebacker. And you think back to last year when the Roughriders made the late season acquisition of Alex Hall from Winnipeg, a guy who was leading the league in sacks at the time, bringing him in addition to the pass rushers they already had.
Crompton has time and zips one over the middle. Deron Carter could go. He will go. Touchdown, Montreal. Penalty flag back at the 42. Remain a touchdown.
Well, the penalty flag looked like it occurred
pass interference
where Deron Carter was.
The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
There you have it. Deron Carter makes the catch despite the interference. Goes on to take it to the house. Alouette O-line does a nice job in protection there, giving Jonathan Crompton time, giving Deron Carter time for that route to develop with a defender draped on him. Carter, the biggest play receiver they've got, turns in a biggie there.
Deron Carter, 5th touchdown of the season, 4 receiving, 1 a punt return against the Roughriders earlier in the year. Son of Pro Football Hall of Famer, Chris Carter.
And here you see the matchup between Carter and Weldon Brown. There's a little water skiing by the DB. That was the flag. But Deron Carter fights through it and goes up and makes the catch.
Well, most of you are enjoying some turkey and all the helpings today. Here's a guy who before every game munches down on a Snickers bar. That's his pregame meal. As it gets him ready.
Dad goes back to his high school days. Dad brought him a Snickers bar. All about that energy.
So the Alouettes take the lead on a big play. 61-yarder. JC to DC. Fumble football. Jackson picks it back up. Trying to it burst outside. Down near the 18-yard line. 4:04 to go before halftime. Beginning of a two-day Thanksgiving feast here on TSN. Winnipeg and Edmonton after this. Don't you get a feeling, really, Dwayne, the last couple of weeks we've seen, not that any of the other games didn't matter, but we've seen kind of a playoff feel to so many games, including this one.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the intensity picking up, and it's obviously going to ramp up even more over the final month of this season. This is the final interdivisional match of the 2014 season. It's all within their own divisions from here on out. I mean, they quite literally are playoff games with how close the standings are on both sides.
Gobbled up. And a fumble football. John Bowman has it. Stolen by the Alouettes. Anthony Allen says he was down. Montreal says they have the football. Now the call on the field is that it was down. You may see a challenge flag here.
Well, the key is going to be, watch Bowman right at the back. The left arm pops that ball out. We'll try it.
Too late. They wanted the flag down. They didn't get it down. Over the middle. Too late for the Alouettes. That was certainly a play that could have been challenged and probably won. As it is, Saskatchewan will kick the ball away when we come back. It's the 3-minute warning. Good half of football here so far. 14-7 Montreal. And will have his number retired. So the Riders will kick this away on what looked like a ball that was fumbled away. Alouettes did not challenge in time. James Rogers still on his feet. What an exciting returner here in Montreal. Let's go back and take us through this play, right?
Yeah, and I mean the Saskatchewan Roughriders get a big gain in terms of field position because the Montreal Alouettes didn't challenge this. You watch Anthony Allen, keep an eye as he's on his way down. Keep an eye on that right knee. Doesn't touch down before the ball is out. Now, we also listened to this during the break. Couldn't hear a whistle at live speed with the audio, so I don't think it was whistled dead because of his forward progress. So should have been a fumble, but the Owls don't challenge it. Would have been a great time to challenge late in the quarter given the field position.
Boy, that was awkward. And that results in Brian Peters decking Terrell Sutton for a loss. The other thing, beyond all that, good on the Roughriders to huddle up very quickly in scrimmage so that the
ball snapped quickly.
Could not challenge. And Sutton did well to hang on to that football, but Brian Peters torpedoes in. A loss of 4 on the play.
Yeah, and Sutton's just got to get a little bit more depth on that swing route so that he's not catching the ball on that angle where it's basically coming directly over his head.
Pistol formation with Sutton. Back to pass, and from behind, Crompton feels the heat and goes forward to the midfield stripe, the 55-yard line, but will be well short of a first down. So with 2:12 to go before halftime, the Riders will get it back again. This is where Sean White has really excelled this season. Veteran kicker. His ability to pin teams within the 20 and 10-yard lines. He's been very adept at angling the football. That's a key.
Yeah, a guy who's always been a very good directional punter, even from his early years in the league, filling in for Paul McCallum in BC before he became the full-time guy here in Montreal.
This one, near the 5. And downfield quickly, Dominic Ellis.
He's been a terror all afternoon.
And all season since we've watched him come into the league, Dominic Ellis gets downfield as quick as anybody else in the league, a former product of South Carolina State. So the 2-minute drill now for Tino Sinceri. There's still a chance also that Montreal might be able to get the football back. And this ball, by the way, isn't it appropriate just before halftime that it is placed on the 13th yard line?
There it is. You see the big number 13, the line painted in pink.
Roughriders again may have caught a break last time, wisely scrimmaging right away. Anthony Allen stood up and brought down. Well, the Roughriders have flatlined since that early touchdown.
And since that touchdown, they haven't converted on a second down. It leaves them at 4 for 11 in terms of second down conversions on the ballgame.
Second down conversions, a huge key to victory. Here's a second down here. Sinceri over the top. And again will not be able to successfully convert it. And so a minute 23 now before halftime. And the Owls will get it back.
Sinceri just forced into this check down situation. Couldn't see a lot. Big bodies in his face. Forced to settle for that outlet to his running back, Allen. Allen with so many touches being watched very closely, particularly since he was left free on that touchdown.
New returner for the Alouettes, newcomer Chris Rainey. Former NFLer with lots of speed, doesn't need it this time. It bounces out of bounds. Week 6 of the 2014 NFL season. Monday Night Football tonight. 49ers, St. Louis. Take on the Rams, 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific. Anthony Calvillo with some good old buddies. It's Matthew Prue, and now works in television. Great DB in his time. Mike Pringle's here. Tracy Ham is here. 55 seconds to go. Now ticking down to 54. Anthony Calvillo, you know, in many ways, might have still been playing. Good chance he would have been playing if he did not suffer that concussion last season. And after that, decided that he would ride off into the sunset. He accomplished so much here, broke all the records in the record book.
Yeah, and somewhat remarkable given there are really kind of two parts to Anthony Calvillo's career as a Montreal Alouette.
Crompton, open man. Incomplete. Chad Johnson, since his welcome to the CFL, which came with a lot of hype and hoopla. This guy who was a perennial all-star in the National Football League hasn't really done much.
No, not a lot of balls going in his direction, essentially becoming the fifth receiver in the Alouettes offensive scheme. Just failing to make the most of the opportunity given on the last throw.
So in the span of 30 seconds, we've had a couple of kicks. And again, the Roughriders, and this one goes off the side of Sean White's foot as he got a little pressure there, but shanks this one. And so now a penalty because it went out of bounds in the air between the 20-yard line. The Riders are going to get good field position and can get it into field goal position or even better. Just as we were giving Sean White some props.
Illegal punt out of bounds. Montreal number 6. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So they'll start at the 38-yard line.
With 43 seconds, plenty of time for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to move it into that field goal range for Chris Milo.
Just a 25-yard kick, the 10-yard penalty, a 15-yard net punt. Tino Sinceri, though, has been struggling with second down and moving this football. Bringing it out, far side. With Billy Parker, tight coverage there with Weston Dressler. And back we go to second down.
And again, the second downs that have been an issue here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. One of the other things, though, to keep an eye on for Saskatchewan looking ahead to the second half of this ball game, as you may have heard Kate McKenna mention in the pregame show, Sinceri has been far better in the second half of ball games than he's been in the first half.
He'll need to be. This guy has been awfully good. Anthony Allen buried up near the 42-yard line. Keep in mind that those numbers could be skewed a little bit based on what Sinceri did last week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Limited sample for sure. But a trend that, if it continues, you have to like the position that the Roughriders are in going into the second half with a close ball game.
Anthony Allen over 100 yards in the first half. AC will see his number retired, and already the ovations have begun. They have an Anthony Calvillo sighting. And this whole stadium rises up here. We've still got 10 seconds to play in this first half. James Rogers picks it up. Penalty flag. 1 second to go. So still one play to go before halftime. The AC show.
Mike, if you guys are elected, right? Olivia.
This is really cool as well for one guy named Baron Miles.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy who, through their careers as teammates in Montreal, one of Anthony Calvillo's best friends, having the opportunity to be here on this day as an assistant coach with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. CAC and family there with former teammates. Mike Pringle.
Is he skinny? Is he built?
Tracy Ham was there as well. There's Baron Miles, coaching the secondary for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Played here with Montreal and with AC. And speaking of, the first half is over. Anthony Calvillo will be honored. Montreal leads 14-7. Let's go to Rod Smith and Paul.
Passes completed so far in this football game. 27 yards passing in the first half for Saskatchewan. We're going to talk more about that and just how conservative Saskatchewan has been so far in the first half.
One of those passes completed to Deron Carter for a Montreal touchdown. Here he is with John Lou.
Deron, offense started the game with some very long fields, but did that Chip Cox forced fumble essentially not just shift field position but momentum in your favor?
Definitely. We depend on Chip a lot for momentum on the defense, whether it be a turnover or a key stop. That really got us going. Got our play calling going, and it really got me going. I was ready out there. I was hyped. Converted into a touchdown.
Describe the chemistry, the awareness, the level of awareness that you and Jonathan Crompton have formed over the last few weeks, because you seem to have become his first option.
He trusts me out there. I'm on the sideline. I'm ready. I'm always in his ear. To me, I'm open every play. So, it's fun out there, But before, it was really hard getting yards, but now we're out there having fun, and having some big games.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, John Lou. Back inside our CFL on TSN studio with the panel of Jock Climby, Matt Dunnigan, and Chris Schultz, and talking more about that big play, the 61-yard catch to Ron Carter for the touchdown. Jonathan Crompton's first half, Matty, hey, he's been winning by and large. 5 starts for the Alouettes, and he does have 4 victories, and he's had some good plays so far in that first half.
Yeah, not many of them. Not giving the opportunity.
Well, that one anyway.
Jock, you talked about the stats. Not many opportunities. Unleash these young quarterbacks. Let them do their thing. Now it's the defense's job to go out there and pressure them. And for the most part, we've seen that from both defenses trying to get after the young quarterbacks. And they got to Crompton early, and that's his old teammate, or an ex-Alouette there, Diamond Ferry, getting to him. But here, you give any quarterback, young or experienced, time in a pocket like this, they're going to find receivers like Deron Carter for his 4th touchdown of the season, 5th for Crompton. Hey, guys, I understand trying to manage the game for your young quarterbacks, but you have to unleash them a bit, give them a full complement of plays, and let them stretch a defense and challenge them. It's big for this football team moving forward to let Crompton go as well as Tino Sinceri.
Matthew, let's talk politics as it relates to CFL football. Liberal or Democrat? Republican, conservative?
I'm from Texas, Schultz.
Yeah, so say no more. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Riders are taking a very democratic, conservative approach to offensive football. I mean, God bless him, Anthony Allen, 22 times he's touched the football. And early in the game, it did look successful. But, I mean, the people that are on defense for the Montreal Alouettes, you know, they're pretty bright guys. They're like, okay, we understand. You got to run this kid and run this kid and run him. Well, we're going to put more people in front of you so you can have success. And I thought one of the transitions in the game, I mean, look at that touchdown right there early in the game, was the fact that they started to take Anthony Allen out of the game. So what do you got to do? You got to get a little bit more liberal. You got to look at the more Republican side of things, and you got to make some passes because they can't expect Anthony Allen to have success like that in a defense where they're overloading the line of scrimmage.
Your political references have completely confused me.
Yeah, me too.
I have no idea what's the Republican offense. I don't even know what that is.
Republican offense.
And it's certainly not Democratic right now because there'll be a whole lot of receivers who are not getting a vote right now. Because you talk about 22 touches. He's got 22 of 24 touches for Saskatchewan. He's responsible for 95% of their offense. I understand George Cortez wants to keep his young quarterback out of trouble. But at a certain point, I mean, this is 2nd and 8. You're running the football. You are just telling your quarterback, we don't trust you. Flat out, we don't trust you. And look, the one time he threw down the field, he had a guy wide open and he missed him. But if you're throwing once or twice a quarter, how are you supposed to connect on those types of plays? They need to give him a chance to play.
And I wasn't trying to be democratic. I was trying to be diplomatic, talking about the Jonathan Crompton play, because you're right. The numbers, not the greatest for these young quarterbacks so far. 5 for 13, 105. Crompton's having a better half, though, than Sunseri is. Talk about a great career at quarterback. Anthony Calvillo, the number to be retired. We'll have more from Montreal coming up at the half of the CFL and TSN. Leading rusher, Alouettes great Mike Pringle. He's speaking about the league's all-time leading passer, his former teammate Anthony Calvillo. That ceremony going on in Montreal as they are about to retire number 13 on this 13th day of October. Back with the panel and former teammate of Anthony Calvillo and Jacques Climie. And you remember the transition from the great Tracy Ham when Calvillo was an understudy. What are your memories of Anthony Calvillo, the quarterback?
You know, I see it as a transition. I mean, Anthony Calvillo came into the league with the Las Vegas Posse and was just a gunslinger. And everyone thought this guy had huge promise. And he went to Hamilton and he just got broken down. He had no protection. He was getting beat up game after game and really was bad. He wasn't just a mediocre quarterback. He was a bad quarterback. When he came to Montreal, we all thought, really? Yeah. Calvillo? What are we going to do with this guy? I mean, he's washed up. He's done. Yeah. And then we saw the way he approached the game, a student of the game. And Tracy Ham started to learn from Anthony Calvillo. And then he took over from Tracy Ham. But then he had Mike Pringle in the backfield. And he had to hand the ball off 20, 25 times a game. He still wasn't the Calvillo that we know today. And it wasn't until Don Matthews came in 2002 where he told Pringle, take a seat, son. We got a quarterback here who can do something special. And that's when they really took the reins off Calvillo, and he emerged as one of the greatest passers, if not the greatest passer in CFL history.
Jock, 125 career games, over 300 yards passing. That's ridiculous. 29 times, over 400 yards passing in his career. He was a teammate of mine in 1996 on that Hamilton team that you talk about, and he wasn't ready back then, but certainly his time behind Tracy Ham and learning how to do it, and actually showing Ham sometimes, too, how to approach the game, was phenomenal. And I think that's what his mark on this league is. He's our Peyton Manning. He's the Peyton Manning of the CFL. He taught quarterbacks and elevated the approach to the game and how you're supposed to do it. And he did it. You talk about Don Matthews' influence, the Trustman influence, extended his career tremendously and certainly helped this guy. It was a beautiful meshing of the minds coming together offensively. And the last 5 or 6 years of his career was absolutely extraordinary to watch.
Hey, guys, you know what I miss? I miss his skill. And I use this analogy. Ever been to a karaoke place and you see someone getting up there singing your favorite song and they butcher it? And then all of a sudden you're hearing that song, you're like, whoa, now I understand why I like this song. The absence of his skill in this game, I see it. I see it with the other quarterbacks, and I see this massive separation. There are very few quarterbacks we have now in this league or in the last 20 years that had that level of skill, that ability to throw that football with that precision.
Look what we're seeing in the first half of this football game.
Yeah.
How much so we've seen a lot of that this year, unfortunately.
Yes.
We miss that kind of proficiency. And I want to just mention something you said, Matty, about his approach to the game. And you have talked about some veteran quarterbacks whose technique you think is questionable, as if they are not practicing the fundamentals of the game. My memories of Anthony Calvillo as an all-star quarterback, he is staying during special teams. He's working on his drop. After practice, he's staying late to work on his delivery. I mean, Tracy Ham was kind of an athlete, ran around, there is Tracy, but Anthony Calvillo practiced every day to be better at what he does.
Tracy Ham handing off to Anthony Calvillo again as the guest of honor, and a message there from Brett Favre, one of the greats as well.
Congratulations on getting your number 13 retired.
So we had seen and heard a little bit of Tracy Ham speaking too, but yes, more messages. They had one from Ben Cahoon, former teammate as well, a great receiver with the Alouettes. And yes, Brett Favre, it's a nice touch. A big star from the National Football League, paying respect to the all-time leading passer in professional football, Anthony Calvillo, and his number 13 to be retired as we head back to Molson Stadium now.
Chers partisans, dear Alouette fans, plusieurs grands joueurs ont porté le chandail des Alouettes, mais un seul numéro 13 restera jamais gravé dans nos souvenirs. Anthony, in recognition of the immense contribution you have made to this organization both off and on the field, it is my privilege to announce on behalf of the Alouettes organization, myself, Jim Pop, and the Wettenhall family, that never again will an Alouettes player wear number 13. Anthony, nous ne te verrons plus à l'œuvre sur le terrain, mais les partisans pourront se rappeler de tes exploits, car ton numéro 13 restera ici à tout jamais. Mesdames et messieurs, le numéro 13, number 13, Anthony Calvillo.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Merci. Thank you. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. You know, when I first got here, I didn't know what to expect from myself. I had to rediscover myself. And when I got released from Hamilton, there was two teams that were interested and gave me an offer. Two people that believed in me. But I decided to come to one place. And the reason why I wanted to come here, because they were established, winning organization with an experienced championship quarterback and an amazing owner. And the only reason why I'm standing here today is because of one person, the architect of this football team, and that's Jim Pop. Jim Pop is the man who continues to bring success to our football team. The other person I want to acknowledge is our great owner. I know you're sitting up there, Mr. Wettenhall, as Bob's I call you now, in your spots, looking over this team. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to live a dream. You have done it the right way, and I've learned so much from you, and I look forward to learning more from you as we move forward with our relationship. To all the fans, you've been amazing. You've been the reason why we've had so much success here. And of course, to all my teammates, every single player that I played with, we all shared in something special. You know, I've been MVP and now my number's being retired, but without you guys, there is no way that I would have had a chance to accomplish anything. So I just want to say thank you very much for the memories. Two more quick thanks so we can get this football game going. To all those people of Ward number 13 out there, I have ran into so many fans saying, listen, when we've been able to stick with you, even when we're getting heckled in the stands. So I just want to say thank you for supporting me throughout my entire career. And finally, my family, Alexia, Athena, Olivia, my mom, Christina, and my niece, thank you so much. My mom has sacrificed a lot. We have sacrificed a lot, but we are enjoying our lives now, and we're proud to call Montreal our home. Un grand merci à tous les partisans de Montréal, de Québec et du Canada. Merci beaucoup.
Félicitations encore, Anthony Calvillo. Congratulations once again on
very
the
deserved honor
honor.
for one of the greatest to ever play in the Canadian Football League and the league's all-time leading passer, Anthony Calvillo. And, you know, I don't know how relevant it is to the conversation, but it's something you read and you see over and over again in talking to him. Just what a great guy, what a nice, modest man he is as well. And I think sometimes that gets overlooked, but truly a classy athlete who's represented the CFL very well.
Yeah, he was a great guy to have in the locker room. He wasn't an overly boisterous guy. He wasn't a rah-rah guy. He was fairly quiet, but his calmness and that sort of even-keeled approach he took to the game and that studious approach he took to the game was infectious in the locker room. And so he was a leader by example, not a guy who's going to get in your face or call you out or try to pump everybody up, but he's just every week in practice, in meetings, he's a professional, consummate pro.
Well, the thing I like so much is that his career had many ups, many highs. But guys, he overcame a lot of adversity too. It's not like he was so gifted and so unbelievably talented that everything came easy to him. All the success he's earned, every honor he has had, he has earned that, and he's earned it the right way. He is a Hall of Fame player and very deserving of those awards.
Yeah, Schultz, we got to know the Calvillo family through watching Anthony and living their lives and experiences and ups and downs, and him retiring to be with his wife, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. Roller coaster, wonderful ride for CFL fans, including myself, to watch this guy develop and grow and lead as a player and as a man in the Canadian Football League, and we're better off for seeing it.
Yeah, defined by his greatness, defined also by the obstacles that he had to overcome to attain that greatness. Number 13, never be worn again by Montreal Alouettes. We'll be back in the second half after this.
Second half lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders 14-7. Anthony Allen, the lone touchdown for the Riders. He is with John Liu.
Anthony, knowing that the Alouettes had shifted their defense to adjust for your involvement in the game, can you still continue the same run-to-pass ratio like you did in the first half?
I believe we can. It's up to us, to come out and execute no matter what defense they're in. We knew they were probably going to change the defense, and it's up to us to respond to how they responded to us.
How much are you carrying as an offense from last week's game? Even though it was a losing effort, it was a strong comeback. How much of that are you carrying into this afternoon?
Definitely trying to use that momentum to start us in this game. And we kind of started in the first quarter. We kind of fell off in the second quarter. So now we're going to try to come out in the second half and play like we did that game.
Thanks for this, Anthony.
Thank you.
Well, Anthony Allen, and there is the Anthony of the hour, the day of a career here. Anthony Calvillo will join us in the second half. In a word, the ceremony like the man. Classy. Chris Rainey bursting outside, and now Chris Rainey, his first touch, and down at the 45. Chris Rainey's first touch in the Canadian Football League. The newcomer who spent some time with the Pittsburgh Steelers brings it back into Saskatchewan territory, a return of 42 yards.
Yeah, nice job getting it up right behind that wall and then finding a gap, bouncing it right. Little hole in that Saskatchewan coverage. And then you see the speeder Rainey turning it into a big play.
Chris Rainey's first touch, almost a touchdown. Guy who played with the Florida Gators, won a BCS championship a few years ago. Tom Higgins told me yesterday, he said, watch out for this guy, he's electric. Terrell Sutton. 7-point lead for the Alouettes. First half dominated by a couple of turnovers and a big play by Jerron Carter from Jonathan Crompton.
Yeah, and that big play and the turnovers really made up for a very pedestrian first half offensively for Jonathan Crompton and the Montreal Alouettes. You see only 5 carries for Sutton, 19 yards on the ground, and Crompton well below 50% in terms of his completions.
Second and 10, has time, now flushed from the pocket. Decides to roll, and now goes. Has a block. Penalty flag is down inside the 30-yard line. It's a first down, but we'll have to check the penalty flag. Also, in that first half, numerous penalties.
A couple of flags down on the field. One of them, I think, is going to be a hold on the receiver.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Saskatchewan, number 1. Penalties decline. First down.
Marche Green, illegal contact. So this moves the ball even further into Saskatchewan territory, and because of that return from Chris Rainey and this penalty, Montreal marches. Interesting to see how that long ceremony affects both of these ball clubs. They were out warming up while the ceremony was going on. Sutton goes up the middle. I will tell you, watching the faces of some of the Alouettes, though, there was a lot of emotion, was there not, from John Bowman, S.J. Green, guys who up until last year were playing with AC.
Yeah, certainly for the veteran guys, and I think the Alouettes, as part of their plan here today, decided intentionally to come out of the room a little bit early to allow some of those veteran players to watch a ceremony that meant a lot to them.
The plunge and another penalty flag.
But football players, athletes in general, such creatures of habit that those changes can affect you. We see it a lot of times, obviously, in big games, Grey Cups, and so on.
Offside, Saskatchewan. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Offside call. You know what I loved about the ceremony? And Montreal knows how to do it right. The city of Montreal. The cacophony of cheers, the ovations that just seem to go on and on. They've done it for so many years down the road with hockey players, and they do it here in this stadium with football players like Ben Cahoon and now Anthony Calvillo.
Yeah, definitely a very well-done ceremony. Good production.
Inside the red zone. Crompton, here's the rush, and he's swarmed and he's dropped.
Oh, big pressure right up the middle of that defense, led by Terrius George and then followed by the newcomer, Chancey Agayere.
Agayere supplied the finishing touch.
Keep an eye on the two big bodies right in the middle of that defensive line. A bust in terms of the blocking scheme allows George to get there first. Gayeri follows close behind.
Very close to the face mask as well of Jonathan Crompton. Got him on the helmet. Second down and long. Here's the rush again. Crompton looking for Carter. Does he have it? No way. Touchdown. What a catch. Oh, my goodness. Big play. Deron Carter does it again. See you on Sports Center tonight.
Well, this has been Deron Carter at his best. His first touchdown catch of the game. Pass interference call made. He fights off the defender to make the catch and take it to the end zone. And here, Rod Williams, you can't ask your corner to do much more in coverage. Deron Carter with a fantastic catch for the touchdown. Great concentration.
Jonathan Crompton throws another touchdown pass. Carter, 3 catches, 100 yards, 2 majors.
Now you heard Deron Carter tell John Lou he gets a lot of balls from Jonathan Crompton because Crompton trusts him out there. And there's the proof for Jonathan Crompton to put that ball up knowing Deron Carter's in one-on-one coverage. It's that tight. He trusts his big receiver.
Guy who burst into the Canadian Football League last year. Stars in his eyes. He's become a superstar in front of our eyes. Jonathan Crompton, Deron Carter.
And a well-thrown ball here, a risky throw. Rod Williams is right there with Deron Carter, but Carter goes up. The man right on him takes advantage of that size advantage. Go up and get the football.
Already the century mark. Ups the lead to 21-7. Now the Roughriders need to come up with a response. Tristan Jackson will try that, and he breaks free, and Jackson is finally brought down near the 50-yard line. Winston Venable, the tackle. Composed Deron Carter, but not a few moments ago.
Right here, it's just an outside release. It's going to be man coverage. Rod Williams, the corner, right there with him. He's right in that hip pocket as the ball's in the air, sees it coming. But Carter just outfights him for the football.
Well, we talked about Tino Sinceri's numbers in second halves. Needs to pick him up. Sandwiched on a little slant.
You saw the adjustments that Montreal made as they saw a steady diet of Anthony Allen in the first half of this football game. Allen had 22 touches, 105 rush yards, 21 receiving yards. Sinceri threw only 8 passes in the first half of this ball game. They now need to start to build some play action, some of their quick game off of the success they had with Allen in the first part of the ball game.
2nd and 3. Will they use Dressler more? Sinceri decides to tuck it, take it. Has the first down. And Weston Dressler has a couple of catches. He's the big play guy for the Riders, of course. And Sinceri now continues to drive this football.
Yeah, and a good decision there by Sinceri to take off with the ball. Get what you can get. Keep the drive going. Use every weapon at your disposal.
Handoff. Up the gut. Plows. Anthony Allen. Sinceri comes by his talent quite naturally. His dad, a longtime assistant in the NCAA. His brother Vinny is in the National Football League. He played his college ball in Pittsburgh. Interesting how that works. Fathers and brothers pass the game on. We've seen that already today with Deron Carter, the son of the great Chris Carter. Sinceri now. Snap was directed right back to him. Kind of a broken play. Not sure if he was ready for it. On 2nd down and 6, that ball came back in a hurry.
Yeah, despite the confusion, it still looked like he might have a chance to run for the first down here, because the only pressure coming is all on the outside of that pocket. There's nothing up the middle. A little bit of hesitation there allowed the Alouettes to recover and rally to the ball.
Chris Milo will come out and attempt a field goal here. This is from about the 48-yard mark.
Well, that would match his longest of the year.
Kick is up. Will it make it? Off the upright, off the post. And he gets nothing. Off the goal post. This game has belonged to Duron Carter. One in the first half, one in the second. 21-7 Alouettes. Pretty Pacific on TSN 5, and I'm sure this week's CFL in 30 will have a special segment on the ceremony we just saw. Anthony Calvillo's number 13 retired forever by the Alouettes. The new guy, Jonathan Crompton, wearing 18. Done a good job here today. James Rogers trying to get outside. A good tackle on the far side from Tristan Jackson on the corner. Otherwise, that was a big gainer.
Well, the Riders have done a good job defending the Montreal run game, keeping them under 4 yards a carry in the first half of this ball game. You're going to see the initial run action come to this side and then bring Rogers around, trying to create a little bit of misdirection and then allow the speedster to break contain to that far side. But the secondary run support keeps leverage, comes up for the tackle.
Riders maybe trying to force a turnover themselves now. Crompton, pocket collapses to Brandon London. Steps out of bounds. Another one of those players who has a natural gift for the game. His dad, a coach in the NCAA ranks at Virginia.
Nice help as they go to that two-back set with Chris Rainey in the backfield. Late recognition to get a piece of Weldon Brown on that blitz. And take him up high and sustain that block a little longer, but got enough of him to create a lane to allow Crompton to step up and go.
Terrell Sutton makes one miss. Finally dropped.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of history repeating itself with Duron Carter having a big day thus far. It's one of his biggest last season. Came around this time of year against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 6 catches, 152 yards, and a touchdown in late September. All part of the coming out of Duron Carter in 2013. Establishing himself as one to watch here in the CFL.
There goes Terrell Sutton.
And Sutton looks like he's starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm here in that Alouette run game. Into second level that time, boosting his numbers now. 9 carries, 45 yards. 26 of those coming here in the second half.
Jonathan Crompton pitches it out to Sutton. He's got blocking help. Loads of help. Sutton now, a juke. And a good traveling partner. If you're going to go running at anybody, why not have Ryan Bombin in front of you, clearing a path?
Well, one of the more athletic linemen in the league, but watch the misdirection. Run fake. You're going to see Rogers come around for a fake handoff in the backfield as well. Then opening things up, everybody forgets about Sutton by the time that fake to Rogers has happened. Easy little screen pass for Crompton.
Crompton stands in again. Oh, another terrific catch. Duron Carter, this is your day.
And it ends up being a 7 or 8 yard completion. Doesn't seem like a big deal. But it's a whole lot tougher than it looks when all your momentum is going one way. You got to extend the other way to get that football. Nice catch from Carter.
So it will be 2nd down and 3. Low snap, quick hitter, one hopper. So 2nd and 3. Sean White likely will be called upon here to extend the lead to 24-7.
You can just see a little bit of panic set in for Crompton there with the hurried throw after that snap bounced back to him. Nice job moving the football up to that point, setting the table for Sean White here.
This kick will come from the 25-yard line. Looking at about 85% this season. Easily done. Alouettes extend their Thanksgiving Day lead to 24-7. Saskatchewan still running over the rest of the league. 55 sacks to Montreal's 38. The next Purolator food drive next Sunday. John Bowman does not have a sack, but has a key fumble recovery in this one. A lot of pressure on Tino Sinceri. They drop the football. Bowman's there again, and so is Winston Venable. And it goes from bad to worse for the Roughriders. The Alouettes pounce again.
There's all sorts of trouble on the exchange between quarterback and running back. It looked like Tino Sinceri may have come in a little bit high with the football up on Anthony Allen's hands, but now seeing it again, that replay, you see Allen, it just got him in the hands, not a big enough pocket provided by the running back. The running back's job, don't look for the ball, just give a big pocket, let the quarterback put it there. But not opening up, his top hand caught the ball. On the ground it goes. Alouettes looking to again capitalize on a Saskatchewan turnover.
Corey Chamberlain is clearly frustrated, seeking answers. Crompton again over the middle. This time for S.J. Green, unable to hang on. Now will Jonathan Crompton go to his favorite target. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes this season. James Rogers has caught 1.
And that puts him second on the list. Deron Carter, the other 5, including 2 already here today.
Good chance he might go there again. Looking for Brandon London, though. Jump ball, and London has it! Touchdown! Circus catch after circus catch here in Montreal.
Thinking everybody's focusing on Deron Carter. He throws a similar route going the other way. You watch Mark LeGree, who's in the game as the extra DB. He makes a break. He thinks he's in position to run underneath that one for the interception. But Brandon London, much like Carter before him, goes up to get the ball. The highest possible point. Bring it in for the touchdown.
That is Brandon London's first touchdown. That's why he's carrying that souvenir to the sideline of the season. And the Alouettes are rolling right now. Rolling. You talk about turning points in this ballgame. Go back to that fumble. In the second quarter, go back to that first Deron Carter touchdown. The Alouettes seize momentum and have not looked back.
No, they really haven't. And on both sides of the ball, defense hasn't given the Riders much of a chance to get going. And the offense, you give them a short field like that, they're going to put points up.
Riders notoriously have not played well in afternoon games. Day games in Montreal have not won since 2001. They better get it together if they have any chance here today. Brandon London finds the house. Brandon London must have thrown his ball into the stands. He wants the souvenir back. This was one to remember. Great catch. If you're going to score a touchdown for the first time of the season, do it with some pizzazz.
Yeah, terrific catch there. We've seen the concentration from the Alouette receivers. Back-to-back touchdowns from Carter and now London. A couple of guys with some pretty good bloodlines. Brandon London, the son of University of Virginia head coach Mike London.
There's the story. Points on turnovers. Otherwise, the 17-7 game. Still, Alouettes have dominated. And this is a team that has seriously turned their season around from a 1-7 dismal start. Chance to keep pace in the CFL East. Oh, big hit. Down the field. J.C. Beaulieu. Make that Jonathan Beaulieu-Richard, who had that crushing hit downfield on Tristan Jackson. Here it is again. Boom.
Looked like he was targeting that football a little bit, going for the right arm to rip and strip. Another former local star with the Montreal Carabins.
4 minutes to go, third quarter. Still plenty of time for the Roughriders, but down goes Sinceri. Scott Paxson adds a tally to the sack squad.
And Paxson just right up the gut. The big defensive tackle as the Riders fall further behind. It gets into the obvious pass situations. Bull rush on Dan Clark into that left guard spot for Brendan Labatt. And right to the sack.
Look at the Alouettes. Are they coming again? 4 this time. Time for Sinceri. And knocked out of bounds is Brett Swain. Roughriders just unable to use any of their receiving weapons to any effectiveness today. Sinceri getting a lot of heat.
Well, yeah, and you're looking for that chemistry to develop with the guys who have been the traditional pillars of this offense, the slots, Dressler and Getzlaff, who have been uncharacteristically quiet.
Chris Getzlaff without a catch. Dressler has a pair. Look out. Could be free here. James Rogers dropped downfield. And again, a good field position, good starting point. Under 3 to go before the end of the third quarter.
With this return, you even feel that momentum going on special teams. Riders dragging a little bit in their pace. The Alouettes seemingly getting stronger here in the third quarter.
Jonathan Crompton became a starter when the Owls were 1-7.
After going 5 of 13 in the first half of this ball game, now 5 of 7. A couple touchdowns since the break.
Pulls it back, play action. Brandon London goes to the high point to bring that down. Big tackle made down there as well, and the spot is going to be about a yard short of the first down. Rod Williams on the hit. Good catch again from London.
And this play, don't think went exactly as it was drawn up. But good adjustment and recovery by the quarterback, Crompton.
Looked like offside there, Saskatchewan. Whether they were drawn or not, we'll see. Saskatchewan defense that has been a little beleaguered of late. They've been on the field an awfully lot the last few games. And again, a lot of this correlating with the loss of Darian Durant. You can't put it all on the quarterback. They're
offside.
Team with Darian
Saskatchewan, 5-yard penalty. First down, Montreal.
And timing is everything, of course, and the connection offensively. Just the fact that the offense has struggled to move the football, meaning that the defense is on the field that much more. A little bit of fatigue setting in. Had a couple adjustments in personnel, but as far as their key guys, they've largely been there throughout.
Terrell Sutton again. When you play this game in this league, had so much success at it. There are 24 players on the field, 12 on each side of the ball, but it's amazing how the game goes according to who you have behind center.
Yeah, there's no question about that, and I point simply to my own pair of Grey Cup rings, which I often refer to as the Flutie Grey Cup ring and the Garcia Grey Cup ring. Having a good quarterback makes a massive difference.
Second down conversions, the Owls 10 of 16. Going for the kill shot again! S.J. Green can't hang on. Otherwise, there was another one for the highlight reel. Good coverage there and a hard hit in the end zone to knock that ball away. Otherwise, S.J. Green might have added another touchdown.
Yeah, trying to go to the well a third straight time in that same area of the end zone. But you see not only the range, but also the ill will in the arrival of Tyrone Brackenridge, and this is, quite frankly, why I love this guy as a football player.
So Sean White once again. And again, the wind blowing from his back. 42-yarder this time. More Montreal points. 34-7. Final 36 here in the third. Coming up, Blue Bombers and Eskimos. Eskimos might be frothing from the mouth here. An opportunity to take hold of second place in the CFL West. Depending on the outcome of this one, Blue Bombers a win.
Bombers will be happy to get Nick Moore back in their lineup today, and hopefully a little boost for their offense.
Sinceri over the middle. And finally, they have Chris Getzlaff, who makes his first catch in the final seconds of the third quarter, and he got hit hard. Slow to get up. Won't go on a knee. Says everything about Chris Getzlaff. He's back in the huddle after taking a hard hit.
A couple of pretty good collisions on that play. Getzlaff involved in the last one, but right before that, after he catches this ball, you'll see a couple of Alouette defenders, Marco Briette and Gerald Brown, collide. Brown was real slow to get up, and the big hit that took Getzlaff down.
Final play, third quarter. Tisdale on the final play of the third quarter, the third turnover. The nightmare continues for the Roughriders in Montreal. They opened scoring. They led 7-0. And since that time, Montreal has scored 34 straight points. When we come back, will join us on his day. Calvillo, CFL's all-time passing leader, broke all the records. Retired before this season, and now his number retired.
Congratulations once again.
On the 13th day of October, on Anthony Calvillo Day, and his old football team doing well to help celebrate today. AC joins us now on what I'm sure is quite an emotional day for you.
You know what? This day has been building up. People have been asking me how do I feel? I'm like, listen, I'm looking forward to it. And today is it's been fantastic being with my family, being with the fans, and just seeing them unveil the number there. It's been spectacular.
Anthony, so many milestones, so many awards, accolades over the course of your career. Is there any one that stands out to you?
Well, for me, it's hard to pinpoint one thing. just because we've had so many great memories here. But the biggest thing is the parade that this city threw for us when we won our first championship. That right there was something that I'm always going to remember, and I share that with people because it just stands out, and you have to experience to understand it.
Well, AC, your old running mate Ben Cahoon was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. You're no doubt going to go there. When you started playing this game as a young boy and you accomplished so much even coming to Canada, I'm not sure even you knew that you would do what you did. I'm sure in your mind you thought you could. But when you see your name, you don't play football to have your name and number retired, but what does that mean to you?
It hasn't really sunk in yet. Come on, go ahead. Oh. It hasn't really sunk in yet, to be honest with you. I mean, I sit here, and this is actually the first time I've actually enjoyed the scenery of the stadium and look at the names and appreciate everything. And to see mine up there is really mind-boggling because I just, like you said, as a kid, I was just enjoying the time and enjoying the game.
That number, 13, there are a lot of players when they're young, kids, that stay away from that number. But there have been a lot of people who have had a lot of success with that number. Why did you ever wear 13?
I actually got stuck with the number in high school. I made the varsity team my sophomore year, and the only number left between 20 and 0 was 13. So I got stuck with it then and had it everywhere I've been because nobody wanted to wear it.
Look out here, Weston Dressler trying to kick this outside. Runs into a teammate. Go to return. We have some tributes. I know you've been talking to everybody, and it's like a reunion. And frankly, you haven't retired very long. You've been around here quite some time. But here's what your old buddy John Bowman had to say.
I can't give you an easy answer like leadership and whatever. It's intangible. It's like he was the calming effect. We had a lot of big-time guys, and for him to be the calming effect and ease everybody's mind and let them know that you're going to get your turn, just let me do my thing. And that's the thing I miss. He's just a calm, even-keeled guy. He got everybody relaxed. He took control of every situation. Never seen him rattled, never seen him out of place.
Yeah, that's kind of been your story, though. I mean, but also the hard work and the study sessions. I'm sure you're not minding getting up at 5 a.m. anymore.
No, I'm enjoying my sleeping in, but the one thing that the Bowman talked about, I remember when I first got to Montreal, and I saw what Tracy Ham was to his teammates. The leadership, but not only just as a leader, but people will come up to him and ask him personal questions, and that really stood out to me. It's like people wanted to go and get opinions from this individual, and that's what I wanted to try to achieve and get to.
Seth Daggy into the game for Saskatchewan. Down big, goes over the middle and can't hang on. It is about inspiration in so many ways. I know you had heroes growing up, and I know you're a hero to so many people and young quarterbacks in this game. What about a guy like Jonathan Crompton, who seems to be an heir apparent now to your era in Montreal? Have you imparted any wisdom on him?
No, I really stayed away from the team this year, but whenever you're winning ball games, that says a lot. I think, people and fans and media put too much high expectations on quarterbacks. I mean, it's a hard game, and you're not going to master this thing overnight. But if you could be consistent and have your team win, that shows a lot to your teammates, and he's been doing that since he stepped in that role.
A little bit along the same lines, AC. Yeah, I would ask, you played for some great coaches. Obviously, people talk about Mark Trestman, Don Matthews.
Time out.
A lot about Jim Popp. But what's the best piece of advice that you've received over the course of your career?
Well, I mean, again, I just remember following in Tracy's footsteps, and there wasn't one particular thing he goes, listen, this is what you're going to have to do. I just observed him. He would show up 3 hours before practice to watch film. I would sit there with him, and he would explain what he's looking at, why he's looking at it based on our offensive scheme. And I just absorbed all that information, and that's what I try to do when I was finally a consistent quarterback, to share my knowledge with the young quarterbacks, and it was up to them whether or not they were willing to accept it or not.
Josh Bartell. Back at the 10-yard line is James Rogers with a flag down. Well, there's a lot of people who have obviously had an impact, and guys that you played with and guys who you played against. By the way, who is now a coach with the Montreal Alouettes. Here's Jeff Garcia.
And our battles go beyond the CFL. We battled in college. We were in the same conference. He was at Utah State. I was at San Jose State. We came out the same exact year. So our battles started back when we were 20, 21, 22, and then continued in the Canadian Football League. But he has been an ambassador for this league. He's been an ambassador for this city in the return of a franchise here in Montreal in the late 90s. And he's definitely been a great player and somebody that a lot of people definitely have looked up to.
Won those 3 Grey Cups. Those helped him a little bit too, huh?
Yeah, it was fun battling with Jeff. Like he mentioned, all the way back into our college days, and we stayed in touch over the years. Even when he retired, we exchanged emails and contacts. So I'm glad to see that he's here. It's always fun to see an experienced quarterback in this league that could go and help this football team, and that's what he's doing.
You know, it's one thing to come to a city, to a team, to a country, a different country, and then to make it your home. But that's what you've done as well here.
You know what? This is a special place, and there's a lot of people here in Montreal that understand that it's unique. It's a safe place to raise family. The culture is amazing, and I'm really looking forward to spending more and more time here outside of football. I mean, being here now and doing so much more in the city, I've got to know and realize, the impact that I've had here, but also, there's a lot of other people doing a lot of special things in the city as well.
Well, you mentioned you've chosen to keep your distance a little bit in this first year of retirement, but do you foresee yourself getting a little more involved with the world of football here in Montreal?
That's definitely the plan. I wanted to take a year off. It was important for me to take a mental and physical break away from the game, and then get into coaching. So it comes down to the right fit too. It has to be a good fit for myself and for the organization. But either way, I'll be part of this organization no matter what.
Only appropriate that we leave you. Look where the ball is.
You know what? When we got here to the stadium, that's the first thing that I noticed, and that's something special.
It's one thing to have your number retired, as Sean White will give up to here. It's another thing to have your number as a yardstick. You know what, Anthony? That says everything about you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
champion, and one of the greatest that's ever played the game. Anthony Calvillo Day. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh, it's more than I thought it was going to be. It's fantastic.
Anthony Calvillo Day here in Montreal. Salute to the future Hall of Famer. Did so much here in his time and will continue to do more in the community as his team leads the Roughriders 34-0. Thank you, Rod. Jonathan Crompton on the line upstairs. Riders get 2 on the safety touch given up by Sean White. Still some time, but they're going to have to get some touchdowns in a hurry here. Keep in mind, this is a team that scored 24 quick points last week. Now, it was Tino Sinceri who came in for Seth Daggy. This week, it's going to have to be Seth Daggy coming in for Tino Sinceri.
Yeah, Saskatchewan Roughriders looking for a little bit of a spark, and the suggestion from Corey Chamberlain coming into this game was, as well as Tino played last week, if I need to make a change, I'm going to make a change. And it seems that the Jeff Tisdale interception triggered a change.
Some people might say, well, hey, they got Kerry Joseph there as well, but keep in mind, he just got to Saskatchewan. Not that familiar with the playbook. Daggy stands in and fires, and it's caught. Brett Swain down near the 42-yard line.
And Jerome Messam into the game in the backfield here as well. A nice job by him on pass pro, allowing that last one to happen.
Messam beside Danny on first down. Good blocking by Messam. Into traffic. Oh, juggling it. Jeff Tisdale has his second pick. For a moment, it looked like a receiver was open, and then Jeff Tisdale said, now you see it. Now I got it. 4th Saskatchewan turnover. Interception.
Fourth of the year for Tisdale. Intended receiver is here. Tisdale's in man coverage, but the key guy is Gerald Brown, who's providing the deep help, provides a second defender there. So it looks like there's a lot of room once De Palma gets past Tisdale. But because Gerald Brown is there providing that deep help on the outside, not a real big window to throw the ball into. Tisdale can stay on that inside shoulder and still be in position to make the play.
Alouettes might be a little conservative now, up 34-9, a team that ranked 6th coming in the takeaway giveaway. And it's quite an obvious statement, but the math is that if you win turnover battles, you're going to win football games, and they're winning the turnover battle big here.
Yeah, in a big way, taking advantage of the inexperience of the Saskatchewan quarterbacks here. Again, a ball on that last one where you can't throw it to the outside as you'd like to do on that outside fade type route or go type route because of the deep help.
There goes Terrell Sutton. You know, and I know Saskatchewan fans are lamenting this time right now with these young quarterbacks that are trying to get through this because of injury to Darian Durant. And we've said it so many times about having that backup that's ready to come in right away. Look at Calgary, what they have been able to do with BC when they had Kevin Glenn around. But at the same time, think back to an Anthony Calvillo when he was starting in the league. For one moment, don't think that down the road a Tino Sinceri or a Seth Deggy or a Jonathan, any of these young quarterbacks we've seen this season.
Yeah, I have a lot of belief in Tino Sinceri, and I think the feeling from Saskatchewan's perspective really was that this would be the year that he would be ready to step up from the number 3 role as a rookie last year into that number 2 role and play a little bit. It's a learning process. It's going to take time, and I mean, you look at virtually any quarterback in the league, as we often say, in the last 2 decades, Ricky Ray's really the only exception to the fact that quarterbacks take time.
And again, the guy they retired his jersey today is proof positive of that. Came into the league with Las Vegas and in Hamilton. Very subpar numbers, and then put up the greatest numbers this league has ever seen, so you never know. Sutton now running, rough shot over the Roughriders. What a run here! Amazing run by the little guy, Terrell Sutton. Little spin move, shimmy and a shake for 20.
And now you're seeing the Alouettes start to do a little bit of what Saskatchewan did in the first quarter of this football game. Relying on that run game, they've got working against a defense that they've had out on the field for an extended period of time. Starting to wear them down in that run game. The physical nature of that play at the line of scrimmage starts to take its toll on the defenders. Sutton now 15 carries, 91 yards.
Keep in mind they hardly used him in the first half. And now Sutton continues to run wild. Another first down. Actually is Chris Rainey that time into the ball game. And that's his second touch of the ball game. Rainey, again, coming into the ball game this week. One of the newest Alouettes. Just signed. Played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again with the Florida Gators.
6-4-2.
So giving Sutton a break here and letting Rainey run the rock. Had a very good return early in the ball game. 6:09 to go and counting.
Well, they're looking for Chris Rainey to be the other half of that 1-2 punch as they had sort of settled into. Keeping the 2 international backs on the roster with Brandon Whitaker, Terrell Sutton. Whitaker went down with a foot injury, training, doing plyometric drills off the field, away from practice. He's on the 6-game injured list, so they're going to need someone to step up and fill the void.
Now they're getting a good look at Rainey right now. There he goes. Tom Higgins said yesterday, he's something special. He's got a real skill set. Funny thing about what Tom said yesterday as well is about Jonathan Crompton and the quarterbacking situation. There is no secret that, like the Saskatchewan Roughriders right now, the Alouettes had their growing pains at quarterback earlier this season. Troy Smith in, Tanner Marsh, Alex Brink, whoever it was, they found Crompton. And Higgins said that he remembered the words of Ron Lancaster when it came to quarterbacks. Hand off here again. he said, Ron Lancaster, who was a great Rough Rider, of course, a Hall of Famer, said that the only criteria for a quarterback is to win.
Yeah. Does he win? Jonathan Crompton has done that for the Montreal Alouettes. The numbers on individual basis haven't been outstanding, but the results, certainly for a team that was in the hole coming out of the gate, the results have been tremendous.
Absolutely remarkable turnaround, and Crompton gives way to Alex Brink. 2nd and 5. Not this time.
And I think one of the other things that stands out about Jonathan Crompton, and it to me compares a little bit with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, is just, you know, and you also heard the quote from John Bowman about how AC settled everything down, kept everybody calm, gave you a sense of calm for everybody else on the team. And you hear people say the same thing about Jonathan Crompton. He's got this laid-back attitude in terms of dealing with his teammates. Very competitive, but that rubs off on the teammates a little bit, that they don't feel quite as much stress, don't feel quite as nervous. And if you think back to Ken Miller way back in 2008 as the coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I remember him telling us it was part of the reason why he put an inexperienced Darian Durant in a game in 2008 was he felt he was the guy that would settle things down.
Alouettes on their way to their 3rd straight win, keeping pace for first place in the East. Our entire crew here, hard-working crew here in Montreal, and we say thanks to them for giving up their Thanksgiving Monday to bring you football today. What a day for football on TSN. Running left side, Nick Jerome Messam. Don't forget the Bombers and Eskimos right after this.
Jerome Messam getting a chance here. 2011 most outstanding Canadian in the CFL. Another guy who's had some success in this league as an undrafted player.
Tumbles forward for a first down. So any kind of positive sign right now. This game out of reach for the Roughriders, but they got to look ahead to their next couple of weeks. Down the stretch we go towards the postseason. Right now, the Riders are slumping. Football feast today, and then Monday Night Football later tonight as well. Seth Deggy trying to put some more points on the board for the Roughriders here. Final moments. Penalty flag. Likely a hold, and Daggy just got dusted. Throwing it out of bounds. Hit hard. Aaron Laverius there. Looks like a hold against the Riders.
Laverius and Venable both in on that hit along the sideline. I suspect the flag will be a hold on the interior as that play began.
Holding Saskatchewan, number 66. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
2:37 to go. Hard hitting Winston Venable supplied that hit. Second downs have really cost the Roughriders in this ballgame.
Just 5 of 17 on 2nd down conversions. Only 1 2nd down conversion since the Anthony Allen touchdown.
When this game began, the Riders made it look so easy on that drive. I'm sure Corey Chamberlain thought good things about this ballgame, and then the roof just caved in. Second quarter, and then second half onward. Back to the drawing board. On 3rd down, down goes Daggy.
Hauled by a bear.
Bear Woods with the sack.
Middle
Linebacker Bear Woods, who's been a standout since being inserted into this lineup. Gonna loop around here. Way too easy. And have a guy coming through inside gaps untouched like that.
Well, Saskatchewan will head home. They have 3 games remaining. They'll go to 9-6. They have Edmonton next week in Calgary, and then Edmonton. So a couple of key battles with Edmonton. The Eskimos play the Blue Bombers next. Alouettes, the beneficiaries of 5 Roughrider turnovers. There goes Rainey.
Horse collar.
There's a horse collar tackle from Ron Williams against the newcomer Chris Rainey. Safe to say, with 2:04 to go, we can give Montreal the W. And that big divide.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar tackle, Saskatchewan, 37, 15 yards to the end of the play, automatic first down.
That existed between East and West. This is the final interlocking game today. The West did beat the East 28-12 this season, but the East has come alive of late. Look at this, 3 teams, 6-8.
Yeah, strong in the second half. Big part of that discussion, obviously, that the crossover, which was once a foregone conclusion, is no longer.
No, it is not. Amazing how that has turned around. Let's take a look at those 3 teams. And right now, all divisional games. The Argos have Montreal next week. Hamilton, who they beat on Friday, and a thriller back in Montreal and Ottawa. You see the Alouettes have the Argos, the Red Blacks, 2 with the Argos, and then finally Hamilton. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
No, it sure is. As we said earlier, this represents the end of interdivisional play for 2014. Everything now is East versus East and West versus West. With the standings as close as they
Montreal.
are. They may not call them playoff games, but they are.
How did this happen? How did the East all of a sudden turn it on? I mean, beyond the fact they started playing each other a little bit more and their quarterbacks got a little more continuity, but how did Montreal rise from the depths? This was a team that was 1-7. Hamilton was 1-6.
Well, I would say you've got teams where the coaches have a very consistent approach. There wasn't necessarily panic. They stayed with what their plan was, stayed with what they believed, and continued to coach their teams the same way. And got some consistency in terms of who was in the lineup.
Alex Frank hands off to Rainey again and spinning forward. There's been a litany of injuries all season with almost every team in this league. Your ability to plug and play is key as well. A lot of these teams, look at Chris Rainey comes in, might see a lot more playing time down the stretch. Your ability as a general manager to fill bodies, to fill shoes, is paramount.
Yeah, building depth, of course, is a big part of it. And you use Calgary as a model, a team that has been obviously highly successful this season. A lot of it has to do with the way that they've constructed their roster, and other successful teams operate on the same premise.
Sean White's had a perfect afternoon, 40-9. And again, afternoon games for Saskatchewan and Montreal, not so good. They haven't won here since 2001. Right now, here are the updated standings. Saskatchewan gets their 6th loss. That's their 3rd in a row. After going 8-1, there'll be 3 wins after that. Like that was last year after 8-1, 3-6. So this year they were at 9-6. Edmonton at 9-5.
And suddenly Saskatchewan finds themselves worrying as much about the BC Lions right behind them as the Edmonton Eskimos ahead of them.
Riders 8-2 at one point. To that 8-2 mark. Three straight losses now.
But as you alluded to, Corey Chamberlain This team had to learn to overcome some adversity as the season progressed last year as well. We're able to do that. We're up to a Grey Cup.
Yeah, they were 8-1, went 3-6. To finish off the season.
One question that they rarely had to answer last season, however, was who's going to start at quarterback next week.
And that still is not a for sure. And chatting with Corey yesterday, they still are hoping above hope that they think that Darian Durant might even be able to start throwing. The elbow issue. Get him back. That's the plan. Those are seagulls, not vultures. They're circling here. It has been a completely dominant Montreal second half.
Tino Sinceri, will he get back in that starting spot? You wonder if they'll turn to Kerry Joseph at some point.
Over the top. And De Palma.
As much as Kerry Joseph is a veteran quarterback, a guy who's had great success with the Riders before and so on, not a guy who's played a ton the last couple of years.
Kerry Joseph, 41 years old now. Last play. Getting in trouble. And slides, and that's it. The Saskatchewan Roughriders had an early lead, but after that it was all Montreal. They have a lot to be thankful for in this city on this day. A 40-9 win. They retire one of their greatest players' numbers, and they're tied for first place in the East. Doesn't get much better. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. 40-9, Alouettes.